all the time. All the time. I was nervous because I just wanted to get to the next accomplishment. I just wanted to keep getting better, keep being better. And even when I hit an accomplishment, I'd just be like, all right, what's next?
Right.
What's next then?
Yeah.
And until all the way till junior year where I kind of just crash, right? Like anxiety became my life. Like I was just bedridden. I didn't want to leave my room for anything.
So we have an unexpected visitor for Jesse's first pod, and this is his first podcast.
Reed's face.
The only first.
Hold on, Reed's face. Hold on, I have to take a picture of this.
There we go.
It's like, okay, keep going.
Okay, so I got both my oldest and my second oldest son on the pod right now. So if this thing doesn't go viral, there's something wrong with you people.
Yeah, I'd add you up to the mic to talk. You're not saying anything.
Oh, am I supposed to?
He's like,
Yeah, say subscribe and like.
Okay. My companion is your age.
That's
What?
so he's training out of Michigan, Virginia.
It's pretty funny.
Dang, what the heck?
oh my gosh. Okay.
That's new info. It's good to know. Is he a Sadducees?
A Sadducees.
I don't know.
That's good. It's good to know the name.
You know your star sign?
He said star sign. That's it. That's.
He just reminded me what it was.
Do you know what it is, Reed? Do you know what his is?
It was
Yeah,
good.
it's the secretary.
Huh?
Not the Secretarius.
Secretariat.
Serious.
I'm the
What's Reed's?
I'm the Lionel.
Leah.
The two fishes.
No,
You're the
that's
fishes.
Danny.
Are you
Can
cancer?
you guys, okay, we're podcasting, we're live right now. Let's stop talking to the bitches.
Look at that. That's so cute. They know.
Keep it clean.
Jesse's the king of the jungle. That's exactly the right.
That's what I was thinking too.
Well, let's bring what he did on this, but before we,
Live, like recording this thing?
yeah, it's live right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at one of Jesse's high school parties right now.
Yeah, we're at the high school
Wait,
party.
can I turn white on?
Well,
Do I see it? Oh, it's white.
I don't want to interrupt.
It's okay. You're not interrupting anything. It's alright.
Anyway, the topic, Reed, you may be interested in is we practiced it last week and then screwed up the recording first
We didn't
and
have
then the
a-
audio second and then we didn't have enough space in the camera third. So we had to,
So that you don't have a good tech team.
Paige is
Well, I'm trying. I've done my best here. I'm trying my best.
but we were discussing what it's like to be, and it's not that far removed for you, but we were discussing what it was like to be in high school, finishing up, and we had some details that Jesse's pretty familiar with that because he lived them.
Reed's
And
face right out.
so while we got
camera do we look at?
you on here, what was high school like with the shutdown of COVID and all that uncertainty of the world going on?
It was an easy pass to an easy grade to get out of the last semester of school.
So,
Junior year.
so basically, you looked at it as no big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't that big a deal.
But what about some of the things that are under the surface? I'm trying to kind of climb on this one because it's, you're a positive fellow by nature. But what about like everybody wearing masks, the run on toilet paper, and some of the stupid stuff that you were saying?
Well, as a representative of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I'm not allowed to get political. But I can share my experience in high school of how I did not like wearing masks. Honestly, we got out lucky going to American Leadership Academy. They kind of just started school right back up again in August. I didn't really have to deal with actually being any kind of shut down scenario.
Wait, Reed, were there any problems for reopening the school?
Problems?
Like people said if we reopen schools, it just gets shut down again because of the coronavirus.
Honestly, for the ALA, it kind of went smoothly. I mean, I got my initial school for a week because of one specific teacher. That was about it.
Is it? They just say that.
It was like they just quarantined specific classes.
Yeah, I remember threatening.
Instead of just like shutting the whole school down.
I remember threatening your life when you would like sniff or something or cough. Like, keep that in. You're gonna shut the school down.
But honestly, going to a charter school was a lot easier. There was like relatively less problems compared to like going to a public school where they did like that day in, day off kind of thing. That was weird.
They did?
Yeah, they did all sorts of. Yeah, they did.
that.
It was strange.
All sorts of weird methods.
Well, all
I
right.
wish that I could just go back to regular school.
Yeah, I remember it just being weird because the twins were going to public school and they were basically picking up breakfast for free in the morning and then not going to school. They were just picking breakfast up at school as though you can't make breakfast at home or something. I didn't quite understand like the give outs. Hey, we're really doing something. So anyway, just your perspective is all I was going for. But since you're a representative of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we really can't pick your brain that much deeper than what we already have picked. We have already struck gold. Read it.
Yeah. Off the mission.
You read that.
Uncapped.
Untapped off the mission. I like it. Cliffhanger. When are you going to shave again? You're really getting burly there, buddy.
I know the beard's growing in already. That's crazy.
You want to talk about your interests?
By my family.
He just said gaslight it.
That one on the
What does that mean, by the way? I don't. Actually, I really don't.
It's like mentally tricking people. Well,
Like lying? Isn't it just called lying? Okay, I don't know. Or like, is that what it...
It's kind of an in-between a lying and a roasting.
yeah, it's like a fib, but like purposely trying to trick people.
Like lying. Like lying.
Lies.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Person themselves thinks it's true, even though it's not.
The term comes from an old psychological book. It was a thriller. It was also made into a movie about a man who was married and he kept telling his wife all sorts of things like to where she was going crazy, and so he would continue to reaffirm the crazy to where she actually did go insane. Great book, very uplifting.
Nice. That's where it came from? What?
Yeah,
Can I put the phone down now?
yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Cool.
Do you want to...
Yeah.
All right, I'll call it a better time then.
I didn't see. Love you, buddy.
Have fun on your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Buddy, now he's got an. What? You guys have an accent together?
Bye. This. All right. Now the REAP podcast is over.
Yeah, the Reed God is gone. Now let's get Cassim. So last week we did all sorts of practice. We did all sorts of practicing on this bot. So now you're a savvy veteran. We're gonna go back to right now. Currently, you're about ready to graduate. Man,
Yeah.
28 and a half minutes in May, and you're graduating far above average GPA. And
What even is the average?
I don't know, 3.2 once upon a time, but I think that's giving people a lot of credit nowadays. It's not probably 3.2 anymore.
Yeah.
But you're way up above those.
It's not that hard though.
Not anymore. You just got to turn your stuff in.
Yeah.
They're almost scared to give you lesson.
Yeah. Nowadays, if you just take online classes, you could probably just do nothing till the last day and still get an A.
We'll release this maybe after you graduate, but we're planning on releasing it beforehand. So easy on some of the lingo here, because what if what are your teachers, not your art teacher, who is madly impressed with you, knows that you take on way more than you can chew. Beyond that, so we're sitting here today. We're sitting in April. You're graduating late May, and you're gonna walk. You're gonna be a high school graduate. You've been Mr. Eagle. You were the homecoming king. Your grades are up there. You got a fair amount of friends. Anybody at the school, anybody in the hallways of the school probably think, Jesse Hogle's got this thing pegged, got everything wired.
On paper, yeah. Yeah. I'm sure some of my friends don't think I'm the shiz like some others might.
Wow. Okay, so you have good close friends that know
Yeah.
that they can get BO sometimes.
Yeah, I have good enough friends to know I'm not that great.
I'm good. That's good. Keeps you humble.
Yeah.
And they keep you humble. That's what friends are for.
Keep me humble.
So then let's climb back into, okay, but those that aren't, close with you, they look at you and they think, my gosh, he walks from cloud to cloud to cloud. Everything he touches turns to gold. Let's drill down on, your high school experience. Let's go through the hot spots.
All right. So my high school experience was I didn't really have friends till like sophomore year, but ever since then I've had friends. They've all been awesome. It's just been the same group of people basically.
Yeah.
But it never really hit off till senior year. I never really enjoyed high school until senior year, which is probably how it works for a lot of people. You finally enjoy it, then they kick you out. But so freshman, sophomore, junior, I was just in football. I was just working myself to the bone, trying to get that 4.0. And I hated it. every second of it, I hated it. And I was always nervous all the time. All the time, I was nervous because I just wanted to get to the next accomplishment. I just wanted to keep getting better, keep being better. And even when I hit an accomplishment, I'd just be like, all right, what's next?
Right.
What's next then?
Yeah.
And until all the way till junior year where I kind of just crash, right? Like anxiety became my life. Like I was just bedridden. I didn't want to leave my room for anything. I didn't hang out with people. I didn't work out. I didn't play football. I quit football. I just went online school. That's where I learned how easy it was. That was probably not a good thing. But I just crashed and I was done. I was like, I don't want to do nothing no more, which arguably just made me more and more nervous, right? Because when you have such a high bar and then you stop doing things, you start to freak out.
Right. And so you'd say that was a pretty impactful time, or it was impactful because I got 452 calls a day from you. There was that. And I always enjoy talking with you, but 452 times you were kind of a needy fellow at that point. And that's, what we're here for. But then also you didn't do anything. You were miserable.
Yeah, I did jack crap. And I was basically like a little infant that just kind of sat around all day. But throughout the year, I kind of just slowly realized more and more, you can't be a bum forever. So just baby steps, got back into things. What really helped was the school play that kind of got the ball rolling again.
Interesting.
And I know theater saved me.
All right. So that's got to be the name of the pot. Theater. You can't say. But you're saving the phantom.
Yeah, but it was also a very difficult thing for me to do to audition because obviously theater's a lot less stressful than football. A lot less. But it's different, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. And so you kind of just being in the lights and the cameras and the acting and the singing, it kind of just bonked my head a little, and I was like, this is what I like to do. There's a reason I was so miserable. That's who I was. I like doing these sort of big, extravagant things. Like, to, of course, an extent. If I keep doing those, I'll burn out again. Yeah, I'd burn out, but I like doing those types of things and working up to those things. Because two things I learned from the breakdown period. One is anxiety doesn't define me. It's not who I am. I don't have any ounce of anxiety in my body because it's called a mental illness, right? You're not supposed to be sick forever. But what the modern era does is teach you can only really do two things. One, take medication to feel better. And then two, be a victim about it. Just be like, oh, I have anxiety, so I can't do this. It's like, no, you still could. But that's what I like about your era, where if you have a problem, the first thought is, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to fix the problem? You don't piss and moan about it. You just go to the next step and you keep stepping. So that's what I've learned. It took a lot of time. It took like around 8 months to get back to who I was. But I'm really grateful for that experience because it helped me realize, well, I just get nervous. I get nervous sometimes, and I can admit that. But what am I going to do to not be? It's like, what am I nervous about? It's never, I'm just nervous for fun.
Right.
There's always a reason, and I usually know if I want to admit it or not.
Right. Okay.
And so that's the first thing. And the second thing was, I've told myself this a lot. It's not what you do, it's who you are. So before the little
Breakdown.
yeah, the little breakdown where I huddled in my room for a couple of months,
You smelled really good too.
Thanks. I don't think I showered that much either.
No, usually. Not yet. Can verify that.
Yeah, but I was just based off accomplishments. Accomplishments is what made me me. Where if I'm not good at football, who am I? But then after the little period, this is why I'm so grateful, I realized the build-up is what makes you who you are. The effort you put in is what makes you who you are. I could have 15 million badges of honor, and it wouldn't mean much if I didn't earn it. What makes the experience worth it was the trial, not because you overcame it. Like football season this year sucked. It was fun. I loved it, but it was very hard for me.
Right.
I wasn't like some big point earner or anything like that. I wasn't playing defense. I was just a center.
I was the center.
I was the big ugly.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, all you real football guys out there, earmuffs, because just a center is hurtful to the ears.
Well, what I'm used to is being a very pretty position.
Yes.
I tackle the quarterback. Yeah, it's called up on the big announcements that Jesse Hogle tackled the quarterback. And now they only notice when I mess up.
Right.
And that was hard for me because I wasn't that good at center. Because I've never been a center.
Right.
And I was kind of annoyed. But the more and more I worked at it, the more fun I had. The more I worked and the more I tried, I was proud of myself. And I didn't get some big MVP trophy, but I still loved it. I would have taken that experience over any. I loved it. I loved being a center.
Right. It was impressive because that was really challenging. We were learning what you pulled away from this, what you learned little bits at a time. And as it became a little bit easier to be a center, as you started to learn, how to do that, and then as you started to actually get good at it, and it was a long season for you, but it did seem like you were very much enjoying that thing toward the center of the season, the middle of the season to the end.
Yeah, it was definitely more fun when I was better.
Well, you made mention that it was your hardest season regardless, but it was your funnest season.
It was the most fun by far.
Why?
Well, friends, connections. Even when you're doing great, if you don't have connections, it will still be miserable.
That's deep. All right. I like that. I like talking with you. I always have. Where you and I can talk for a lot of those. Well, a lot of fathers' sons at 18 and 48 aren't quite the same as you and I.
Play screw you, Dad.
Kind of. Yeah, I kind of was more in that camp when I was your age, and so I'm really appreciating this but I feel like I paid some dues back in your rough go there. But the reality is I thought I was as proud as a man could be of his son, watching you stand up and show up every day of practice. You had taken the year prior to that off, and the coaches had not forgotten that. They didn't, because you were a very important spot on that team, and then all of a sudden you're not there, and they jumped through every hoop to keep you there, and you just weren't interested in breathing, let alone playing football. And then you kept going, and every day we talked, and you kept going.
I called a lot.
Yeah, it was awesome, but because you were calling to just not feel dumb for getting up and going again, because you knew you'd committed, you knew you're going to finish this thing, but you just need a little help, and you knew who to call. So back to your theory of what you're talking about, it doesn't matter how great your accomplishments are. If you're not connected to anybody, it doesn't
mean anything. But the difference between calls before and the calls during football, where I was just calling to find an answer.
Right.
I was calling because I've given up. I don't know what to do. I feel miserable and I'm not doing anything about it. During football, sometimes it sucked. Sometimes I needed to vent for like 10 minutes. But you knew I was just going to go to practice the next day, no matter what, because that's who I was.
Right. Yeah. So let's go back to what you were saying then, because I did dig this. So what you accomplished before was your identity before the big break, which let's keep this in mind.
The big break.
The big break. All right. So you have an 8-month lonely spell. No one in your school couldn't even sit down and write this if they wanted to, teachers included. I mean, no one would know this about you, but you're willing to talk about it. So yeah, I went through a hard time. But if you were kind of to take a step back, there's probably most everybody we know or you know are feeling that way to some degree.
100%.
And some people take that into their adulthood and beyond, and they're dealing with it now for 8 months, and they're not coming to that, okay, who I am determines what I do. That's your sound. I'm robbing that for you. Who I am determines what I do, not what I do is who I am.
Yeah.
And that saying the way you live your life by your code, you came up with your code in that 8-month period of time.
I'm very grateful for that 8-month period because that'll go with me for the rest of my life. And a lot of people have the same kind of breakdown, but it happens when they're like 25 to 30. A lot of high schoolers are insecure and they just keep messing up, but that's good. We need to mess up now for when you have like a whole family, you don't mess up later.
So all you parents out there, let your kids mess up as much as possible. This episode has been brought to you by, what should it be brought to? Jack Daniels?
Me.
Oh.